Defense attorney David Gelman for more on this story. David, good morning to you. Just for starters, how extraordinary is this move by the president? I mean, not just defying orders, but that it's in tandem with invoking the Alien Enemies Act.
I mean, it's pretty damn huge, is right, Markie. I mean, this hasn't been made or invoked since World War II. However, just because it has the wartime aspect in that, that doesn't necessarily mean that this act can only be used in wartime. The act also specifically states that the president can use this for an invasion of individuals from countries where they deem that there's illegal activity happening. So in this situation, what the president is saying is, look, we have individuals from Venezuela, the MS-13 gang, and they are dangerous and they are perpetrating dangerous activities here in the United States of America. To protect our homeland, we are implementing this particular section of the Enemies Act, and we are allowed under the law to deport. That's very simple. It is part of the presidential's executive power. I don't think this is going to happen the way that this judge is saying right now.
And in your understanding of the law, they are within their legal rights to do this. And also, to be fair, the Trump administration says they didn't ignore a court order to turn around those planes because they were over international waters at the time. So are they within their legal rights to do so?
1,000% they are within their legal rights. Look, this judge who did this order, number one, the order happened while the planes were already in the air. So the judge is saying, all right, I know you're in international waters, but come home. Well, you can't do that. There's no law. The judge has no jurisdiction to do that once you're in international waters. The second thing I want everybody to understand is this. This judge is a D.C. district judge. All the defendants here, or all the plaintiffs, I'm sorry, that were on the plane, they were all in Texas. So the judge had no jurisdiction to even make a ruling on this aspect to begin with. It is a outrageous court opinion from what I'm seeing, and pretty much from any other legal scholar. I think this is going to get struck down really quickly. I know the Circuit Court of D.C. already has a scheduling for the 18th, where briefs are going to be made by both the government and by the ACLU. So that'll be very interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, and I think that's what confuses a lot of Americans across the country who don't have legal minds, is how these federal judges can kind of pop up out of nowhere and try to stop executive orders like this from happening. Do you think this is a fight that's headed to the Supreme Court, David?
Oh, all day long, Markie, all day long. I mean, this is going to be ripe for the Supreme Court. And frankly, I think it needs to go, because what we're seeing right now is all these judges, activist judges, I'd like to call them, where they are interfering with the executive branch. That's why you have a separation of powers. You have the executive branch and the judicial branch. The judicial branch does their thing, executive branch does their thing. But they can't say to the executive branch, oh, you can't do this, this, and this every single time when they don't agree with what the president is doing. I mean, what are they going to do next? Say to the president, oh, you can't drink a Diet Coke in the morning now? It's unbelievable. So I think the Supreme Court has no choice.
And that would really set him off to not have a Diet Coke in the morning, David. Hey, before I let you go, let me switch gears real quick, because I really wanted your take on this auto pen story. If you've been following it, wanted your take on the Truth Social that President Trump sent out late last night on the auto pen story, saying that President Biden didn't even sign a lot of these important documents himself. He posted last night that the pardons that Sleepy Joe Biden gave to the unselect committee of political thugs and many others are hereby declared void, vacant, and of no further force or effect because of the fact that they were done by auto pen. In other words, Joe Biden did not sign them, but more importantly, he didn't know anything about them. Is that within Trump's presidential and legal rights to do so, David?
It is. It is. And I'll tell you, I woke up and I saw this, and I got to say, wow. This is going to be a huge fight if this really is going to be enacted by the president. Because, look, he is right. If the president did not sign the pardons, if he did not even know about the pardons, then they are null and void. They can't happen. I don't know how
do you prove that, David? I mean, like we brought up earlier where all of his signatures on different documents came together perfectly. So a lot of people saying it does seem like maybe an auto pen was used, but how do you prove he knew nothing about it or didn't at least give, vocal consent to some of these documents and pardons? How does this play out?
You're going to have to do an investigation. Congress is going to have to investigate. They're going to have to subpoena everybody involved, literally everybody besides Biden. They're going to do all the aides that were around. Anybody who just who circulated the document is going to have to be subpoenaed. They're going to have to do a thorough investigation. Then this is definitely going to go to the court if and when the president says, you know what, this is not going to happen. These pardons are not legal. I take them back. I mean, that's literally what's going to happen here. And the Supreme Court will unanimously have to get involved with this, because this is something that you've never seen happen in the history of our country.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.